Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. If it's your first time on the channel, then I'm Prakhar Vatsa. I'm a small time sim racer from India, and as you can see on your screen right now, I do different kinds of things on this channel, but primarily I do F1 2020 league race highlights and live streams. But what I found out over the last 15 league races that we don't exactly have an idea of when the tires let go in a race situation. So for the purpose of this video, what I would be doing is that I would be driving on all three compounds of tires with full damage, that because that is what most leagues use, and just have an idea of at what percentage or when exactly do these tires get a puncture. So firstly, I would be taking out the hard tires for a spin around Austria and basically drive consistent lap times, and just find out at what percentage do these tires get a puncture. This is one of my favorite tracks, and let's see what kind of lap times I can pull. I'm guessing around 107.2 or 3 would be the initial laps, but I'm just a little out of practice right now, so yeah, as you might have heard, I was looking for a 107.2 or 3, but finishing this first lap, we've set a banker of 107.5, which was just the first lap, so I was not really considering this as an accurate representation of what my pace was. So yeah, I will just try to maintain times that are as close as possible to this first banker, and basically check how the lap times differ as we progress on to into the stint. So a 6.9, but this lap was slightly invalidated, so this wouldn't hold. But I just a 107.0 or 107.1 was what I was expecting, and yeah, on lap 3 itself you can see that we do a 1 minute 7.1. So just trying to stick to this lap time now for as many laps as possible, and yeah, just driving consistently to have the best idea of how much you can extend your stints and how much you can stretch these tires. So yeah, pretty straightforward track, Austria. I really love it because there is, I think, in my opinion, just the right combination of uphill and downhill and off and on camber corners and basically traction zones. And yeah, I just really appreciate this track. And on lap 11, as you can see, as the tires are now starting to go off a little bit, so we are getting slight and mini lockups going into braking zones as we locked up into turn 3 on that occasion. So yeah, the tires are still in good shape, as you can see, because we are only about a tenth down on our time, and we have done 12 laps on these tires. So yeah, the car is also getting lighter as we are burning more and more fuel, and the tires are not really in that bad a shape to really affect our lap times. And on lap 15 itself, as you can see, we're still green on the delta. That means that we're faster than our fastest lap, and I think on this occasion we would improve. So we do a 1 minute 6.9, and that is simply because the car is now getting lighter as we're burning a lot more fuel. And when the car is lighter, it's naturally going to be faster in a straight line. And because this track does have a lot of straight line, a lot of straight, sorry, you can gain time on the straights. And even with 21 laps on these tires, you can see we're still in within 1/10 of our fastest lap time. So yeah, that was the objective pretty much, and this was going to be a push lap because I just wanted to check how powerful ERS usage is. So we would be using around 30% of our battery on this lap itself, and you can see in sector 1, and in just a matter of 2 straights we've already gained about 2/10 on our personal best time. So we gained about 4/10 overall, and this was a 106.5, which was completely down to ERS usage. But now we get to the business end of things, as we have 69% tire wear on the front tires. And yeah, basically now in a race situation, if you reach these conditions, you're not really looking to maximize traction and carry too much speed into corners, because you know that your tires are not in the best shape. And yeah, with 70% tire wear on the front tires now, so it's right now it's just about me keeping it within the white lines. And you can see we're already 7/10 down on our time, simply because the tires don't have enough grip to just carry us through corners. But we're now at 75% wear on the front left and 74 on the front right. And because I've carried these tires for about 30 laps on an earlier occasion in one of my league races, you can find that video, I was not truly expecting anything to happen right now. I was fully expecting to carry these tires, but out of that right hander, the front right just lets go. And yeah, it's just I was not really expecting the tire to let go on lap 26 itself because, as I mentioned, I have carried these hard tires for about 30 laps in an earlier league race. You can find that video on the channel itself, but it is entirely down to just carrying that 5 extra laps of fuel, and those 5 extra laps of fuel, they made the car ever so slightly more heavy, and that just shortened the lifespan of these tires by about 3 or 4 seconds. But just in case you're interested, you can do a lap with a front puncture, and because the game doesn't give you double punctures, it'll just puncture the tires, and the tires do not delaminate, so you can carry a front puncture for an entire lap. And around a track like Austria, you can still do, if you have a gap of about 7 to 8 seconds behind you, you can still manage to do a lap and survive. But on this occasion, we are about 7 seconds of our time, and we would come around to do a 1 minute 14.2 on a punctured front right tire. But that's just useless information, just in case you were looking for it. But now we come on to testing the soft tires around Silverstone, which is one of my all-time favorite tracks, and I just really love this track. It's really technical, and there's just so much time on this track. It's just about finding those little tens, in areas that you would not expect. So we have set a 21-0 as a banker on one of our earlier laps, and I was just trying to stick as close as possible. But after 11 laps, and I just followed the same pattern as I did in Austria. So after 11 laps on this track, these tires have about 55% wear, and yeah, 57 on lap 12. So in a race situation, you ideally want to pit on lap 10 or 9, depending on how much you have abused the tires in your quali. So in a quali, if you do an out lap and an in lap and a push lap, you ideally want to pit on lap 9 or 10, depending on how much battery and overcut and undercut, all those situations. But we're still hanging close to that 28-0 time after doing 13 laps on these soft tires, and yeah, we just about set the fastest middle sector, and that's simply because we used a little bit of ERS on that occasion. But yeah, the tires not too bad right now, and coming to lap 14 now, and the tires just with 60% wear on the front left, you can see just not as optimal as you would want this Brooklands and Luffield section to be. And we run in a little deep because there is a little slight rear lockup, and yeah, that just forces us to go straight. So on lap 15 now, and I think the tire might let go after Maggots and Beckett's. I can feel a little instability on the front end. As I mentioned, I was fully expecting the tire to let go, after Chapel, but on this occasion, on lap 15, with 74% wear on the front left, these tires are still hanging on, and yeah, it was just, I was fully expecting these tires to let go after any corner, and this we're with about half a second down on a fastest lap on this occasion, so 78% wear, and half a second down on a fastest lap. So you ideally never want to push these tires to this to this level of wear in a race situation, because you can never truly know when these tires would let go. But on lap 17 finally, and you would see right now as I come out of Chapel, and where did I get my steering wheel? So in India I only had the rear left is let go. But coming out of Chapel, I was fully expecting the front left or front right tire to give up, but on the hangar straight itself, the rear left tire gave up. So yeah, if you happen to know what really could have put the rear tire under load on that straight, you can let me know. But yeah, with the rear puncture, you can just, in Austria I tried for a lap because it was a front puncture, but with the rear puncture in Silverstone it's just impossible, because there are just so many more fast and flowing corners. And if you can see with the race director right now, I had a little off laps because I had to pause the game and do some stuff in the middle. But a 28-0, we were pretty close to a 28-0 for the entirety of the stint. But after, I guess, after lap 12 or 13, these tires just deteriorated aggressively, and we were about 5 to 6 tenths down on all of our laps. But now finally coming to testing the medium tires around Russia on this Sochi Autodrome, and this was an eye opener, to be honest. And yeah, this would simply go to show that more than the tire percentage, the tire wear percentage, it mostly depends on the track you're on, because if the track is hard on the tires, the tires might let go even when you're not really high on the wear percentage. But if the track is not really hard on the tires, then you can see we've done 13 laps on this set of medium tires, and we're still setting purple first and second sectors, and we set a 34.4, but this had a very slight invalidation, so this wouldn't count. But yeah, mid 34s were possible throughout the stint, and these tires just lasted so long that I had to come in to refuel the car, because I was not expecting these tires to last as long. And with 68% on the rear left, I was not really expecting this stint to go for as long, but the tires stretched on for 90%, or for 90% wear on the rear left. And every time I took this long left-hander, I was fully expecting the front or rear right to give up, but the tires just wouldn't let go. And yeah, you can see that I am about a second down on my time, simply because I'm running in lean mix, because I was again out of fuel, and I was just not expecting these tires to last so long, and these have lasted for about 28 laps. And you will see that these are undrivable, to be honest. After on every traction zone, I'm losing the rear end, and you never want to stretch your tires uh, till this long. But coming to the end of the stint now, and even my camera has let go. The battery ran out, because the stream had been going on for about 2.5 hours, and with 95% wear on the rear left, and I was again very close to running out of fuel. I just figured I just have to abuse these tires a little more, and just a very minor donut, and the rear left just let go on 96% wear. So I guess what I found out, if through this test, that it's not really about the tire wear percentage. It is really about the track you're on, and if the track is abrasive, if the track is hard on the tires, then you might get a puncture, even if you do not have a really high percentage of tire wear, simply because the track is more aggressive on the tires. In case of Russia, you saw that we could stretch the stint to about 90%, but ideally in a race situation, you do not want to do that. So yeah, do let me know what your thoughts are on this video, and if you happen to enjoy that, then do all the good stuff. Give this one a like, and also subscribe to the channel. I do almost daily live streams these days, so yeah, make sure you're subscribed to check all of those out. And I do my league race highlights and also league race live streams. Make sure you're subscribed to watch those as well. But until the next time, until the next video, just stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.